there are $610 trillion in notional value contracts that still have to transition by June 30th of this year. And when they tested it in October, I think it was 2019, with $80 trillion in contracts, it was a big fat fail. And you know that because this transition was originally supposed to happen in 2021, and they postponed it to 2023.
So why are they doing this transition?
Because everybody knows that it's bogus, that the interest rate benchmark is bogus, LIBOR, and that's been this big commitment. Actually, I think what could definitely cause the bank to fail is what we have coming up in June of this year, 2023, which is that transition from LIBOR, that interest rate benchmark that was created in the 80s and is in every single contract out there, to, in the US, it's SOFR, but in different countries, there are a few other transitions. And the problem with SOFR, that's the one I can speak to the most because it's the one I'm most familiar with, but I'm sure this is probably pretty accurate for all of them. The interest of the SOFR is different than the interest of the LIBOR.
London Interbank
Offer Rate, thank you.
Was riddled with corruption, with manipulation. It's been running for about 40 years, and there were a number of issues with that, and hence they decided we're going to stop with LIBOR and move on to SOFR.
Correct. In the US, it's SOFR.
Yeah.
But even more than that, I mean, that is a stated rate, which means you had a small group of banks that would get together and say, well, if I was going to borrow money overnight, this is how much I'd be willing to pay. And if I were going to lend you money overnight, this is how much I would want. And that's how that rate was established. So that's pretty darn easy to manipulate the rate. And I don't know this for sure, but my guess is if that had not been leaked to the public that it was being manipulated by the Wall Street, then we would still just be on LIBOR. Because never in history, never have they done this large a transition.